All right, I guess I'll just say I appreciate y'all taking the time to come out. We have the Jacksonville District Corps of Engineers, Colonel Booth, out here to answer questions for or at least maybe not answer questions, but be present for the Rivers Coalition. Got to thank the Rivers Coalition constantly, Everglades constantly, all the groups that just go out there, work to bring attention to what's going on with our fight for clean water. And I think the point that I'll make today is I don't think that there is a scientist that could be brought here, whether it's Mark Perry or anybody else. I don't think there is a doctor, a medical professional, somebody in the medical field that could come here and point out the problems that this brings to people's health. I don't think there's an economist that could come out here and point out the financial problems that it causes for the community that would make the Corps of Engineers say, we were wrong, I'm sorry for what we did for the community, sorry for the way it's hurting the economy, sorry for what it's doing to people's, what it could do to people's health, sorry for what it's doing to the environment. I don't think that there's one data point that can be given to them that will make them say, we were wrong, we're gonna stop. There might be periods in which they stop for a week or stop for 2 weeks and then they're gonna, start it back up again. But in the end, they're just basically to the point that they're going to do what they want to do regardless of the consequences. They're going to do something for the benefit of other communities regardless of the detriment to this community. You could have an attorney come here and talk about the injustice of that. I don't think that would be a data point that would stop them. And I guess to kind of close as a formal remark on injustice of this, the Corps of Engineers is the government. And there is no bigger polluter of our community than the United States government. The Corps of Engineers is the biggest polluter of the Indian River Lagoon, the St. Lucie Estuary, the Treasure Coast. Our government. We pay their salaries with our tax dollars. We pay for their projects that are supposed to allow lake levels to come to different levels and stop these things. We pay them. They work for we the people. Government has no power but for the authority of we the people of the United States of America. And they are the biggest polluters of our community. So yeah, I'm pretty upset about it. We've dealt with this before. Happy to answer any questions you have. That's what's on my mind. Congress, like the Corps of Engineers, answers to we the people. And to give you examples of things, anything that you all could think of or that you've heard us all voice over the years, they can be done. They can be written into law. The problem is the special interests that go out there and they say, listen, if Congressman Mast writes a bill for the Water Resource Development Act related to Lake Okeechobee, we're the sugar industry. Don't vote on that unless you run it by us first, because we don't want anything to mess with the levels of Lake Okeechobee, regardless of how much it hurts the St. Lucie, the Caloosahatchee, the Everglades. We don't want that to happen, so don't vote on that if there's anything related. We could change the laws. We could change the laws so that the Corps of Engineers is not exempted from permitting and environmental standards relating to permitting like everybody else. Those laws could be changed, but they will come to Congress and they will fight tooth and nail to make sure that they are not that they are extracted from permitting requirements in a way that no private citizen would be. You can't have rules for thee but not for me. And you do it for a certain length of time and you do resign yourself to what you've seen. You continue the fight, but I think to fight effectively, you can't ignore what is placed in front of you on a daily basis. If you do, you're not on the right battlefield.
So what effect are the releases having?
There's a picture right here. We know that, when we talk about toxic algal blooms, microcystin, the EPA standard of don't come in contact with it, human beings over 8 parts per billion, and we've seen historical levels of 100x that, 800 plus parts per billion microcystin. we know that whether they are releasing literally that or not releasing that, they are releasing the conditions that make that. These are freshwater algal blooms. They don't grow in saltwater estuaries. They grow in freshwater. So when they dump so much fresh water that they turn the saltwater estuary fresh, not just ugly and brown as opposed to Bahama blue and beautiful, which goes to values and what people, buy into as a community, you create the situation of what will become toxic because of what you have turned this estuary into, a freshwater estuary instead of a salt and brackish estuary. You create the wildfire essentially under the water for the seagrass, destroying the forage for the various eco levels, the ecosystem of fish. You destroy the ecosystem for seagrass, for dolphin, for sea turtles, for take your pick, sawfish, of whatever might be out there. You destroy that ecosystem for them. But again, yeah, I think you used the right point, resigned to it. I could have Mark Perry out here giving every one of these points, and they could probably agree on that, but they're still going to say, sorry, we're not going to stop it. We're just going to keep doing it. They might not even say sorry. Maybe they will, maybe they won't.
What do you want?
What do you think is going to happen now as we're looking at the latest announcement?
I think you're going to see the conversation of this has been a wet year, it's an El Nino year, there's potential for more rain. We'll see what this does with hurricane season. But this goes back to the fight that we've been having since I came into Congress, which was Corps of Engineers. Every year you tell us, prior to the dike repairs, you tell us, listen, we're sorry it's hurricane season, there's more rain, and the lake's at a level that it could mean the lives of people around the lake. So we gotta use you guys as a toilet and dump the water on you. Dump the dirty lake, which it is dirty. Make no mistake, Lake Okeechobee is dirty. And we gotta dump that dirty water on you. And so we started coming in saying, well, listen, if you need more room in Lake Okeechobee, why don't you start lowering the levels of the lake in the winter months before it gets to hurricane season? And that's something that we worked effectively doing. And it's something that there is a right time and a place for it. And the Corps came to the community this time and said, we're worried about toxic algal blooms this year. So we want to start, the lake is high, number one, and we're worried about them. So we want to start dumping water earlier. I can understand that. I understand the rationale behind it, because it's different to dump phosphorus and nitrogen laden water than it is to dump green guacamole, microcystin filled water. It's definitely a different scenario, but we're getting into this cycle for them where they're creating a new habit, like they've done the last couple of years now, where they're saying, hey, we're worried about algae in the summer, so now we're going to dump more on you at this time of year, instead of getting the Everglades every bit of water that they need, the Caloosahatchee every bit of water that they need, not to the point that it's into harmful discharges. And they will acknowledge they were not holding water north of the lake in the way that they could. They were discharging a significant amount of water out of the chain of lakes, leading into them starting up our discharges here. They were trying to lower lakes up there. So they were saying, hey, we're trying to lower the lake, but we're actually dumping more water into the lake from the north. It doesn't add up to an honest situation, and we are the ones that unjustly pay the price for other communities to have benefit. That can't be it.
What should they do? You're saying they should release nothing at all in the
The Caloosahatchee doesn't deserve injustice either. They're different. We are artificially connected. There was not a natural connection from Lake Okeechobee into the estuary here. That's entirely artificial, entirely man-made. Caloosahatchee is naturally connected. They require, let's say, 1,500 cubic feet per second of water going into there on average per year for the good ecology of what they want for good ecology. It might not be exact that, but let's just say it's around that, right? And they will constantly, year after year, not get the amount of water that they ask for, because the Corps of Engineers is trying to artificially hold Lake Okeechobee high. They're trying to hold it artificially high. the Caloosahatchee doesn't get what they want, and then in the summertime they get way more than what they want. So they'll get screwed twice a year, and we'll get the same thing. We'll get way more than what we want, which is we want a goose egg. We don't want any water over here because of that artificial connection. But again, it's all to the benefit of one industry. The Everglades won't get what they request and want for to hold Lake Okeechobee artificially high.
I'm not sure if, what are you saying what should the Army Corps do regarding this?
Send water to who wants water when they want water, all year round. Instead of not sending the Caloosahatchee the water that they want, not sending the Everglades the water that they want, so that the Corps can keep the lake artificially high. That's what they have been doing historically, year over year over year. Caloosahatchee, using this as an example, Caloosahatchee saying, we want 1,200 cubic feet per second of water. Corps of Engineers saying, sorry, we're only going to send you for the next 6 months 500 cubic feet per second of water. Well, why aren't you sending them what they're wanting, requesting for good ecology? Because they're holding the lake artificially high. When the lake is held artificially high and we get into summertime rains and the lake is now too high, who pays the price? We pay the price because they wanted to keep it artificially high for the sugar industry.
That's what I was going to ask. What's the rationale for keeping it artificial?
To hold the lake artificially high for the sugar industry. That is the rationale. That is it. That is the buck stops there. That is the end all be all of why Lake Okeechobee gets held artificially high, is so that the sugar industry can have their, they measure water, the South Florida Water Management District, they measure water with a unit of measurement called MGY, which is million gallons per year, right? So 1 doesn't equal 1 gallon, 1 equals 1 million gallons. So they get something like 800,000 million gallons a year permitted to them. And every foot on that water, on that lake is roughly 150 billion gallons of water. So do the math on how much water they get held for them. Most years they don't use half of that, but it's held artificially high so that they can get what they want. We pay the price when there's too much water. The Everglades pays the price. The Caloosahatchee pays the price. They get whatever they want. And we could go off on this in other places too. Mark Perry is the best person to speak about this in terms of the quantities of water that go into the stormwater treatment areas south of Lake Okeechobee that take the water off the lands of the ag fields instead of taking the water off Lake Okeechobee to clean that. That's a whole nother topic of conversation, but it's just another important point in it. So.
Basically, you're saying there should not be releasing any water in this direction.
One way or another, there should be no releases into this. There has to be a policy in government that you do no harm. So what they're doing with Lake Okeechobee does not benefit this community at all, but they're using us to be a buffer so that they can benefit entirely separate communities. And those other separate communities will say, you're being a bad neighbor over there because what if something happens over here? Well, listen, I always tell folks, if my neighbor lets garbage pile up in their kitchen, it doesn't matter how much they let pile up. They don't get to walk to my fence line and start dropping the bags of garbage over my fence line just because they let it pile up. There's never a rationale to do that. But that's the government Corps of Engineer rationale. We let too much of the garbage water build up here, and now we're sorry, but we got to dump it into your community. That can't be an option. You got to find another way, but this way is not it, because you're putting other people in the positive, the plus column, the benefit column. We're not even at the break even column, the neutral column. We're down here in the negative. You got to at least get us to break even before you start doling out benefit to everybody else. So you got to do no harm, number one.
Anything you can do at this point? I'm obviously very emotional and upset about this.
Constant, because they are crapping on our community, and they do it in impunity. And that's worth being upset about. It is literally an injustice, and injustices are worth being upset about. They're worth emotion. And when, what can be done about it? We come up every 2 years on the biggest bill that I work on, which is known as the Water Resource Development Act, which is what I work on the Committee of Transportation and Infrastructure and the Subcommittee of Water Resources and Environment. And we will put a host of things in there that will say, no discharges to the St. Lucie, no discharges if it's greater than 8 parts per billion microcystin. Corps of Engineers can't exempt themselves from environmental standards of permitting. You name it, we will add those things to it. They will not get passed. They will ultimately get bipartisanly voted out of that bill and not be put forward, and that goes to the Corps of Engineers will not advocate for those things to happen. They will advocate against those things happening, and probably even more strongly than that, the sugar industry will advocate against those things happening. Mark? Yeah.
We're going to start our meeting soon, so
Sure. Mark, you got something you want to say?
no, sir, you've been addressing all the issues here.
Okay. Very good. I know one of you had a VA issue. I'm going to go in there, but if you got another question, I'll hit it real quick. Otherwise, I'll say adios.
Want to talk about the VA?
If you got a question, I'll answer it real quick for you.
You've been critical of the VA Medical Center in West Palm Beach, saying they need leadership there. Tell us what you mean.
Yeah, look, the West Palm Beach VA has had problems year over year over year. There was an individual that committed suicide in the mental health ward there. There was an individual that was supposedly murdered, according to an Inspector General's report in the mental health ward. There's been issues of men and women being cohabitated in that same ward, basically wearing nothing other than scrubs because they're not allowed to have undergarments, things like that. There's things that are broken there constantly. The VA kicked us out of having an office in the VA because they don't want us to do oversight there. They don't want us looking every day to say, is the right security in place? Is the place clean? Were these doors unlocked? What are the employees or what are the veterans telling us because we're there week in, week out? They don't want that to happen. They don't want that oversight. And we have another tragic incident of now one veteran potentially being murdered and another veteran being accused of that murder. And that's a tragic situation. And there will be an Inspector General's report that will outline beyond this. Did all of the individuals have the amount of training that they were supposed to have? Were the right individuals in place that were supposed to be there? Were the right protocols taking place? And the last time that there was an IG report like this, the answers that came back were no, 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 no across the board. The right things were not happening. I can't say that that's the case because that report has yet to be released. But we do know this VA has not been excited about congressional oversight. Yeah, listen, it could be a new person. It could be, we have so many ideas to help this VA out. They are averse to them, whether it's letting military personnel come in and augment the civilian personnel so that there are not vacancies in the VA. The list goes on and on. They are averse to solutions to help the problems that they systemically face. And that doesn't mean that there are not great employees in the VA that love coming to work for veterans every day. There are, but you have a head shed there in the VA that spent, I don't know, $40,000, $60,000 on, instead of giving bonuses to their people, updating their head shed office. That's a leadership problem to me if that's your priority, is, you know, making your office that you don't even really allow people into to look much nicer instead of giving bonuses to the people that are on the grind day in, day out. That's it. Good? Appreciate y'all.